Hello, Women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jacquie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I am very excited to introduce you to Caroline Berith, Head of Demand and Growth Marketing for SHI, and she is the Rising Star of the Year in the Solution Provider Group for our first annual CRN Woman of the Year Awards in 2023. Hi, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Jackie, great to be here. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So let's start off with those icebreaker questions so we can get to know you. Where do you live and where did you grow up, if that's different?
It's funny. I feel like an imposter. I live in California. So this is new for me. Just moved out here a couple months ago. So my husband and I relocated with my toddler out to the Bay Area. So we're in San Rafael, just outside of San Francisco, but came from sunny Florida. So jumping coast, lived there. My whole life was in Tampa Bay for about 12 years. So there we go. Went bay to bay.
I love it. I love it. And California in that area is one of my favorite places to visit. So,
It's beautiful.
love that for you and your family. What is a little known fact that you're willing to share?
So, little known fact. And it's funny as we get into some of the career stuff, this is kind of part of my origin story. So, I was an avid sailor in high school and college and had big dreams of going to the Olympics at some point, went to Olympic trials when I was 18 and then broke my hip. But now, recently, kind of full circle, I started sailing again out in the San Francisco Bay with actually one of my colleagues, which is so fun.
See, I told you I'm always blown away by people's little known fact, and that was a really good one. I love that for you. All right, well, let's pivot and learn some more about you on your professional side. So, what is something you've learned that you wish you knew early in your career?
Yeah, I was thinking about this one, and I picked this question specifically because something that continues to be a learning experience for me, that is that everyone is learning at every stage in their career. No single person knows absolutely everything. If they claim to, then they're lying to you or themselves. But I think it's humbling, but also helps as a great equalizer to realize that as you're talking with anyone at any level in an organization, that no one has all the answers. Great answers can come from everywhere. And it's just something that I think stuck with me early in my career, is still something I remember that helps me feel like I have a presence in any room, is that I know I can add value. I know something that maybe someone else in this room doesn't know. And that's something that continue to remind myself of regularly.
That is great advice. I love that. So perfect. And you never know what you might say might spark another idea or something innovative amongst the team as well. So amazing advice. I love that. How did you reach your level of success given the gender gap, particularly amongst leadership?
Yeah. So I actually give a lot of credit to pre-COVID days. I went and worked at a company, a manufacturer called Infor, kind of my first foray into the channel business. And at that time, we were hybrid. So we were hybrid long before COVID. So I worked there about 3 years before COVID, and everything was off camera video. So I think it gave me a lot of early leadership experience behind a screen and helped me at least think that others forgot I was a blonde woman in my mid 20s, not really always knowing what I was doing, presenting to execs that look like typical manufacturing executives. But it really helped me to build confidence, but also
Mm.
establish myself based on the value I added to any sort of meeting, without just being an icon on a screen, instead of having to have maybe the added pressure of being in person in an office environment where it's a little bit more challenging to definitely go against some of those traditional gender norms in B2B tech, especially.
That is so interesting. I wouldn't even have thought about that, but as you're explaining it, you're right. Like, yeah, amazing. And just being judged by what you're producing and what your contributions are. Um, yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
equity that hybrid work allows, even just outside of women, anyone who
yeah.
maybe wouldn't experience the same environment as someone else in an in-person work environment is so important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Okay, let's pivot to the most important risk you took and why, and maybe what the outcome was.
Yeah. So I talked about sports. So coming out of college, broken hip, thought I was going to go to the Olympics, didn't. So I went and worked in the sports world. What else would a fun 20-something-year-old with a marketing degree go and do? And had another sports stumbling block, hit the hockey lockout when I was working for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And at that time, I knew nothing about technology and nothing about B2B. I was selling in a B2C space and marketing in a B2C space. And one of my clients actually at the Lightning was a Microsoft partner, CCG, now 3Cloud. And they offered me an opportunity to come on board and move into the B2B tech world. And I was quite nervous, quite scared, but even more so for the risk I was taking in making that jump. I was pretty comfortable for an early career person and what my salary was and what my experience was and really clear career paths. And I took a leap and ended up actually they had to build for me a custom job. They saw the talent in me where I was part sales, part marketing, part receptionist. So got to do everything from a reception desk and build a marketing department all on my own, and would absolutely not trade that for anything. Everything I learned in that experience there, but how scary that was going from a place where I had a really clear career path and it was kind of a traditional role model experience to, hey, okay, I guess I'm going to go and basically work for a startup and figure this out and go do whatever BI and analytics is. And that was kind of my first step. But then, as one does, I outgrew that place. We outgrew each other in a really positive way. Ended up about 5 years later making the leap into Infor. And what I laugh about my experience there, again, taking a leap that I maybe wouldn't have if I had known more or asked questions. I think when you're interviewing for jobs now, you'll see I'm hiring certainly all the time at SHI. The typical is no more than 3 interviews because you don't want to scare a candidate. Well, how much can a candidate really get about a role in 3 interviews? And that's definitely what happened to me at Infor. I was interviewing for a role called Director of Field Marketing, Manufacturing, ERP, SMB. Didn't realize those were not commas, they were colons. And that instead of going and managing this cute little SMB business that I'd be managing, actually the largest business at all of Infor. So sort of made me take a leap I turns out was ready for that might not have otherwise. So, first step into tech and then a big step when I was looking to advance my career that really accelerated me to where I am today in a great and positive way.
Wow, you have such an interesting career path. And you kind of said it yourself, like you're glad that you took these risks and some of them were multiple hats. And it seems like that really helped you leverage learning a bunch of new skills. And then it takes me back to your advice to your younger self in like just being confident and knowing that not everyone has it figured out and you're open to that change and learning new things and kind of building on those skills.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing. Okay, one more. What, and this is one of my favorites. What do you do to protect or create that work-life balance, if balance is the word?
I moved to California, obviously. I joke, but actually, sincerely, when I was looking at where my career is going, I'm in such a fortunate place where I am. We built so much in the 2 years I've been at SHI, and it isn't done, in a typical 9 to 5. It's just work that even when you're sleeping, you're working sometimes because we're just so excited about what we're doing. But that balance is so important because I think to achieve the things we want to, you have to be able to grow over time, and burnout is just too much of a reality. So I'm a mom. I'm very lucky. I have a little 2-year-old, as I mentioned, my little toddler that we brought to California with us, and time with her is how I shut down, and that's what balance means to me. Also, very athletic, and so moving out to California, SHI has allowed me to keep East Coast hours. So actually, I work 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, pick her up at 3:30 and have really a whole afternoon and evening with my family. Yeah, sometimes after the kiddo's down, I'll get back to work at night, but it gives me that mental break to really shut down, focus on who I am, do some of the things that I enjoy outside of work every single day, and keeps me motivated to keep going when I come back to it.
Oh, I absolutely love that for you. I'm smiling ear to ear because I'm a mom as well, and I know how fast those years go. So I love that you're able to create that balance, and that you're supported in doing so. So amazing.
Very, very
All
fortunate.
right. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time and allowing us a little bit of insight into your journey and for us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week, Caroline.
I'm just so flattered. Thank you. This is so much fun. It's so great to get to chat with you and be part of the Women of the Channel network.
I love it. All right, community, please feel free to give Caroline shout outs, share your comments and experiences, because this is how we grow and learn together. So until next time, happy Wednesday.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.